Welcome to the freewheeling cavalcade of circular motion, thus defined by the octagon table of double-wide mental introspection and dedicated utilitarian outward thinking in defense of zero content. Translation: we ain't got nothing. All right, hopefully it is working this time. I did actually kind of jack around with a couple settings, and we are playing with an entirely new technology. We're not using the smartphones. We're actually using a tablet. So give me my lead here 1 second to make sure things are working correctly. So let me make sure this isn't this and the other thing. Okay, it is currently showing live, but let me just keep myself honest. Okay, sound is off. Okay, let's keep myself honest. Hopefully you guys are seeing me. I see a couple people in the room. Now, the thing that's nice about this one is actually, I'll get into the nuts and bolts in just 1 second here. Let me just verify and validate that I have things set correctly here, because this is actually kind of going up kind of almost like I'm doing it with a laptop. This is not a laptop. This is not a laptop, okay? That sound guy. It's fine. Would you please, sound guy, just give me a second here, okay? I just want to make sure it's working before you completely go off the rails. Please. All right, so now opening the video and looking at the video, waiting for it to do the very same. Okay, I do see myself. Looks a little overlit. Hang on 1 second here. Let me drop that one. See if that maybe looks a little better. I got the swirlies. Oh, no, I got the swirlies. I don't know why it is doing that. Let's see here. Try rebooting this. Okay, I just rebooted the window, and it's now actually working it. Oh, okay. Page Reaver says 5x9. 5x9. Okay. The nice thing too is also this one I can actually see well, it's not going to really. I don't know if there's actually like a share window thing, and I'm not messing with anything because it is doing what it needs to do currently. So I'm not touching anything because you never know when sound guy.
Come on, squeal.
Don't want to come. Do not come.
She's gone from suck to blow.
Do not come. I don't come.
I knew he was going to play something like that. Anyway, so technology as it is, obviously I do see myself with the pen. Yes, the magic flippy pen. Why? Because I'm not currently utilizing the smartphones. No, actually can kind of show a little bit of a reflection here. A little bit of a reflection, see me in the room, but okay. This is not being utilized on a smartphone any longer. We are now currently utilizing new technology. Obviously, both my Note 9s. what we are currently utilizing at this point was I went out of my way and I purchased a I don't know if I would say middle of the road. It's pretty good. It's not as good as they have because you start looking at the purchase price of some of the the really really amazingly whiz bang completely ridiculous things, and they just cost way too much. Way. Stop, sound guy. Okay, that's not exactly what I really wanted to hear there. Okay, I didn't want to hear that.
It was at this moment that he knew. He
Oh, he. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know about I got. Maybe got a little. But okay, the long and the short is essentially the current medium that I'm utilizing to broadcast, webcast, podcast, as it were. I am currently using a Samsung. Not Note. I keep getting locked on Note because I've been using them for so long. But anyway, the Samsung tablet S9 FE Plus. Now, the way that Samsung ranges their devices is there's this device, the S9. Okay, that's just a standard size tablet, and then they say like the FE. That's got a little bit more gumption, or it's a little bit bigger screen than the previous iteration, and then they say S9 FE Plus. That's a big honking screen. Now, how big is the screen that I'm currently watching? Okay, I'm going to be completely honest here, okay? I'm going to use a tape measure, okay? My laptop, just to the right of this device, is the viewing area of the laptop is literally 12 inches, okay? So basically, let's lock that on. So it is a 12-inch screen with the laptop I'm currently looking at. I'm just talking like, horizontal measurement, not this corner-to-corner crap they always sell because that's the long length. So the current width of what I'm looking at with this laptop is, it is, they say it's 12 something, but it's actually 10 and a half. In terms of tablet size, let's just put this in perspective here, okay? That is a 10 and a half inch screen. They say 12, but I'm kind of a little annoyed here because it really should be 12. Well, my previous iteration, my previous daily driver, the S2, they said was a 9-inch screen. Well, that's literally all you had. I mean, it's got fairly fat bezels, the frame that's around it. And the only problem is it just doesn't work online anymore like that. You can't podcast with it. So this one, and here's the cute little thing that I discovered is you can actually plug a Yeti or a Blue Yeti microphone into the charge port, and then the device goes, "Oh, that's a microphone." I never in a million years would have said, "Oh, all right, let's just plug a Blue Yeti microphone." This is the spare one. Plug a Blue Yeti microphone into a tablet, and then podcast with it. Now, the other thing too is also if you know anything about these devices nowadays, you don't have all the ports. And I'm gonna show you the naughty parts on my phone here. Okay, so literally it has the USB-C plug. It also has a phono jack, 1/8 phono jack, 3.5 millimeters. Obviously, it has the stylus port and of course the speaker hole. But it has multiple inputs and outputs. So we say, try to keep this very clean. But anyway, the tablet technology that they have currently, I'd have to step down like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like about 5, 6 rungs of tablet technology, almost. I think it's 5 actually. I'd have to go down to an A9. Now, if you know anything about Samsung devices, there's A, there's Pro, there's S, and then there's like Book. Book is as close as you're going to get to a laptop in like Android / hot rod tablet format. This one is actually higher middle ground of middle of the road. Now you can actually go to one step above this, and it's ultra. So better processor. I think a little bit bigger screen. I think it goes to 14 and change. And the other thing too is also you go to a different processor. Well, here's the kicker. When you go to that other processor and you go to Ultra, you get AI. This is absolutely the most bang for the buck, no AI tablet they currently have on the market right now. And the purchase price on them is obviously, if you buy them new, it's like a $600 tablet. I did not spend $600 to purchase this tablet. I did buy, actually, this is the second one I bought. The first one I bought, the guy on eBay was like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'm selling it for X price." And I was like, um, "You sent me an offer on this thing. Hey, I'll tell you what. Would you accept blah 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 as my offer?" And he goes, "Oh well, man, okay, I'll take blah blah blah. It's not that much off my asking price." So essentially, he gave me a under $20 break on the price. He proceeded no further. I obviously was looking over on eBay going, "Okay, where's my new overexpensive toy?" Didn't come. So I now had to go through things and actually source a second 9 FE plus. So this is the second iteration. I think actually this one was on price point, maybe just a skosh more. The previous one, though, actually had a pretty good bundle. It was the case, it was the tablet, and it was a 1T SD card. It's about $70 or $80 card. I would have jumped on that thing hardcore. But anyway, well, no, that's the other thing. Patriot Fever in the Room says that's why I avoid eBay. Well, that's the thing is if you buy on eBay and you use PayPal and they play games, you get reimbursed. Like within they were like, okay, if he doesn't respond by this time, we'll now get involved. My eBay reputation is like spotless. I think I have like, oh my god, I don't. It's like 1,400 or something. Let's keep myself honest here. On eBay, I am currently looking at. Uh, I was off. Sorry, I was off. I now have 1,128 positive feedbacks. They look at me and go, "Oh yeah, this guy, he's good stuff. He's good S hit." to use the kids' vernacular, he's good S hit. So anyway, I then decided I was gonna not play games with this guy anymore. I was gonna seek eBay to get reimbursed. So I got reimbursed with that. So then I purchased a second unit, used obviously, but in good shape. Screen protectors because I always put glass on glass. A case, and the case is actually kind of a little bit. It's not exactly being happy. It's being a little annoying to tell you the truth. So actually, I think I did a motion where it actually threw up the keyboard. That was a little weird. Okay, I can't play band leader and play baton. Did I hit the button? I might have hit the button. Let me see. Did that do anything? No. Okay. Well, that's the other thing too. Is I also have to learn the magic pencil, the way it works on this device versus the stylus, which I've been using forever on the Note 9s. I know the Note 9 intimately because it's been my daily driver for the longest time. I do like Samsung products. I mean, in terms of the technology, I mean, when you come right down to it, from Mr. Little S2 to current, I've gone up 7 generations of units. So that is completely a different animal. The learning curve is such that it's like, "Hey, would you like me to blah, blah, blah?" And I'm like, "I didn't know that you could blah, blah, blah." "Okay, well, if you blah, 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 I can blah, blah, blah." I'm kind of looking at the thing going, "Okay, now how's this thing go?" So anyway, I'm now in the learning curve of figuring out this device, but most importantly and primarily, I can actually podcast uniformly with this device pretty much anywhere that I have Wi-Fi. And the dirty little secret is I have Wi-Fi anywhere that I have Verizon, no problem, because it acts like a hub. Anyway, so good stuff like that there. Looking at a couple of people in the room. Actually, a couple of people actually watching. Got somebody in the room. I don't know where Martina Sasquatch is today. He must be out doing something else. Hopefully he's doing okay. Barry Kashon had a birthday on Facebook, and I eventually caught up with him, and he just said, "Oh yeah, life intrudes, so I really haven't had time to go and watch you on YouTube live." It's like, okay, dude, I was just kind of wondering if you were okay, and I'm glad you're okay. So, Shout out to Barry K. Sean. Appreciate you still hanging with me, dude. Catching me after the live cast. And if you catch me, afterwards, before, during, whichever, I really truly don't care. I'm just happy that you guys actually give me your attentions. So, on that note, let's see. Get out of that. Hang on a second here. Let me make sure I'm honest. Okay, this, that, those, all these other things. Biggity, baggity, baggity, boom. Okay. All right, so that's good. I can get out of this screen. That one's currently running. This one's over here. I don't know if you guys heard about this one. I think I have a couple iterations of this story, but supposedly Waltz, the guy that actually ran with Kamala, is having a problem. People are driving by his house and they're screaming, "Retard!" I might have to stretch it out or it might get clipped by eBay, but it's the RETARD word that's diminutive of those people with Down syndrome. Now, I think one of the funniest videos I think I saw in recent, iteration was I saw a guy with Down syndrome going, "Please stop comparing us to him. It's giving us a bad name." It's like, dude, that's funny. No matter who you are, I don't care who you are. That's funny. For the guy with Down syndrome to say, "Stop comparing us to, walls." That is absolutely hilarious. Cannot do it justice. But anyway, people are driving by his house and they're screaming, the R word, which sounds entirely too much like you're trying to avoid saying the N word. Give me 1 second here. I guess he'd be even more pissed off if he ran by his house and started calling him Republican. Maybe that'd be even funnier. It's like, "Stop, Republican!" Watch him completely losing his stuff. Oh man, that'd be just too damn funny. Anyway, so scrolly. I don't know if you guys caught up on this one or if you were observing this one or actually watching this one. But July 9, 2025, there was a person by the name of Bean, and she was going to be running in a special election in Tennessee's 7th District in their Congress. So the election was triggered by the resignation of Republican Mark Green, who took a private sector job after voting to pass the Big Beautiful Bill Act. And Bean was supported by the Knoxville Democratic Socialists of America. Now, I got to give it credit here. This chick sounds. I actually heard of all people. Scott Adams was comparing her to like the party girl in college who sounds like she parties here. Her voice is kind of like this, because she's been yelling so much at all the party. Yeah, it's kind of like one of those girls, and she's an average looking female, not spectacular, not bad, just kind of average, but she was noted as saying, "I hate Knoxville. I hate country music. I hate all these rednecks. I hate this, that, and the other thing." And pretty much she put a bullseye on her butt that was just ridiculous. Well, case in point, she did it to herself and she lost. Her name was Aflyn. So AFLYN, Aflyn Bean. She didn't sugarcoat anything about how she is. She basically said, she hates all these things, all these really intrinsically very Tennessee things. She says she hates, and of course, she's so much in the camp with Mondami and all the other air quote Democrat socialists. Oh man, if you want to ever say something stupid about yourself, you pretty much say, "I'm a Democrat socialist."
So please remember what you're going to get. There's no delete button on the internet.
Yeah, so that person did that to herself, and man, I got to tell you what, all those guys were looking at her and just going,
I've fallen and I can't get up.
She became high on the poop list of all these people because it was just horrendously counter to their culture in that area. Wow. You want to say something stupid and you're gonna, well,
You're in violation of the 3 laws.
be in violation of the 3 laws. Okay, sure, whatever.
I've fallen and I can't.
I've fallen and I can't. Whoa. Yeah, she pretty much did it to herself. If anybody's going to come out in support of Democrat socialism, and you're trying to do that in a fairly, really kind of really not so purple, but more of a blue area, it might not play so well in your camp. Probably recommended procedure. You just don't do that. Wow. Just, you know what? I like it when they're honest, okay? I really like when politicians are honest. Just put yourself out there, okay? That's the only way I can say it. Put yourself out there unabashedly. Don't sugarcoat yourself. Tell everybody exactly what you think. And if you do think these things, don't stop thinking them. Keep on going, you know? Don't let a good time go. Well, you know, what was that one? It's like never let a what was it? Never let a bad time pass you by for, you know, forwarding your political ambitions. You know, the German thing. I'm really paraphrasing here, but you know, what was it? Never let a tragedy go to waste or something like that. I forget if it was Marx or one of these other, you know, really just disgusting human beings. But anyway, that's what's coming out of that one. So that guy, that guy talking that kind of smack, it just doesn't really work for them. Patriot Fever, at least admit what they are instead of fooling around saying that they're Democrats. Okay, well, there's the other thing too, and I don't know if it's just a rules for radicals thing or something, but or if it's a going back previous to like Stalin or Marx or one of those guys. Always accuse your opposition of those things that you're doing to confuse the opposition. Yeah, never let a tragedy go to waste. Patriot Fever got that one. But yeah, it's like one of those things where if you really want to know what the Democrats are going to do, just listen. They will always accuse the other side of those things that they intend to do, are going to do, have done, or will try to accomplish in the long view. They're completely unabashedly honest about it. They just say, well, we're going to this, that, and the other thing when the Republicans stop being blah, 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 and they're trying to this, that, and the other thing. They're completely honest about it. There's not even like a moment's hesitation in the things that they're trying to accomplish in their statements. They simply are telling you what they're going to do, and they're blaming it on the other side. All you have to do is listen. It's magic. All you have to do is listen, okay? Sound guy. No, they didn't need to listen to that. That was not what I was looking for, okay? No, you do not get a din. No, no, not at all. No, not applicable. Exactly. You're getting a. Oh, jeez. Yeah, you're really getting a chomp. Stop. There's sometimes he says things via sound files that don't translate. Okay, you were knocking at the door with the doorbell, and then there was the. Yeah. Okay, I'll be knocking on the door, telling him to knock it. Okay, I'm not telling him to knock it off. Really. Sure. Thank you so much. Anyway, so she did it to herself. She lost. Phenomenal. Let's see. Scroll. I gotta open this one. There's a graphic, and I have to open this one up in another window so I can actually see what it's saying because it's pretty good size, actually. So anyway, what this is taxpayers leaving California, taxpayers moving to Florida, and it is a infographic where it's showing, like a blue to a red. That was really cute the way they did it too. It's blue to red. Okay. So anyway, so in terms of Washington State is down. I think it's by dollar amounts. I don't know. But it's reflecting states that are having a population base loss, and like California is just bleeding people. So where are they rolling out to? Well, they're rolling out to New Mexico, Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota. I don't know if I'd really want to move to Minnesota. North Dakota. I'm sorry, no, the red states that they're leaving out of. Sorry, let's try that again. The red states that they're rolling out of is Washington, Oregon, California, New Mexico, Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, North Dakota, Illinois, Michigan, Louisiana, lightly in Mississippi, but Mississippi is kind of such a seriously depressed state in the first place. So, like I said, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York. I'm sure they're just bleeding out of New York. Obviously, they're also rolling out of like Rhode Island, New Jersey, my state of Maryland, Virginia, DC. They're rolling out of there, of course. Massachusetts and Connecticut. And of course, the states that are going to, number one that they're going to, Florida. Texas is number two. So really, really close in terms of numbers for those two states. Where's the number three? The number three state that they're rolling into is going to be, what the hell was it? Well, let's just say Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, West Virginia. What's this one? Indiana, Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Wyoming, Michigan, I'm sorry, not Michigan, Montana, Arizona. So basically, it's a good switch over, literally from these kind of seriously population dense, very very red states. They're going to more rural, less contrived, more relaxed, less legislatively heavy, obviously less tax load, because New York and California, ouch. And I do mean ouch. Unbelievably expensive to stay in there. If you are in those states,
My biscuits are burning! My biscuits are burning!
your biscuits are burning. Okay, well, just checking, okay? Oh, stop that, man. Stop. I stopped that. Speaking of fire, Mrs. Dude woke me earlier than my normal wake up time. I think that she was running late going to work or just didn't feel good. So she was running later. And we come running outside, and the house literally across the street is just woof. And I do mean woof. So essentially what happened was somebody had like something on the stove, it cooked off, and the house just really took off. So much so that I think if the fire department was on about maybe 5-10 minutes later, the house would have been completely unrecoverable. So where it is now, obviously they got it all tarped up, boarded, and they're now trying to figure out, how to put the thing back together. Obviously, they're going to have to gut the house, completely remove everything that just got fried, and start from scratch. I think it's going to be very close to almost a total loss, but they're really going to have to work on this thing. I mean, literally what happened is it was like a draft. And if you've ever seen where the fire's happening and it's like kind of gray smoke, and then it goes really kind of like starting to take off, then it becomes like black smoke. Well, there's that thing called forced draft. Forced draft. That's literally where the hot air is pulling in more air and it's pulling in fresh air. So all that oxygen is blowing through, and it's almost like a steel guy's burner, when they're forging something out and they're blowing all the oxygen there to get the flames really, really hot and overheat the steel. That's what they're doing. Is they're doing forced induction on the fire. More oxygen equals more fire equals more heat. So literally the fire was starting from one end and it was just blowing through the house. The back of the house just had these flames just literally shooting out and the smoke had turned jet black. Well, if you know anybody that is in the fire industry, you can ask them what happens when you start seeing like, black flames. That thing is get ready to just go nuclear. Because truthfully, it's just like gasoline. Gasoline liquid does not burn. What happens is the vapor coming off the gasoline or the atomized gasoline, that's what burns. It is the vapor. So that's what's happening is there's something called wood gas. That is what's burning off the wood. And as it's exiting the wood gas, the wood is being consumed. So that's what was happening to that house, man. And I'll tell you what, it was close, really close. Let me get over here, lose that graphic. Do 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 do. Um, I cannot begin to tell you how funny I think this is. Um, shave my neck; it's kind of bugging me a little bit. Uh, Richard Gere, officer and a gentleman, pretty woman, that guy, kind of an overly pretty boy actor guy. Excuse me 1 second here. Also known, also known to be just sound guy. How would I got this one? I think, unless you got a better one.
Douchebags.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Douchebag.
Douchebags.
Douchebag at your door.
Douchebags.
Yeah, douchebag at the door. Anyway, okay, no, that was not unacceptable. Okay, I'll give you the ding on that one. All right? No, it was fine. Except it is Richard Gere, so that's kind of involving a little bit of I don't. Oh, come on, stop. It's fine. Okay, don't get carried away. You get the ding. You get the ding. Let's see. We got somebody new in the room. Living for Jesus, mother of two. Well, thank you for coming in. Good evening. It's cold here. Well, it's kind of chilly on the East Coast and Maryland as well. So yeah, we're definitely feeling winter time. I guess you'd be more Midwestern, up north, something like that. When I have new people come in the room, I definitely pull them out and go, "Hey, somebody new." Anyway, so Richard Gere perking up, being as about as miffed as he could possibly be, and he's going on about Trump. What's he done for this country? He's being persnickety. Well, anyway, he has essentially ascended to the lofty heights of having memes done about him, and there's that whole gerbil thing that started back in the 1980s, which he just can't shake. I mean, it's like anybody makes comments about him, usually it's like something gerbil related. I'm not going to get into the nuts and bolts of it. You guys can use your imagination, but let's just say that Richard Gere is synonymous with gerbils. Wow. So Mother of Two, we actually had a news story earlier. We were talking about, of all people, Afton Bean losing her seat. So nicely done. I heard some of her public statements, and yipes, she does not sound like a person who's going to be well representing, your standard person in Tennessee who tends to be like that she does not exactly think is needs to be represented by. Anyway, so I wish you well on that one. Thank you so much for not putting another Democrat socialist in the office. Yipes, she didn't sound like a good choice anyway. So anyway, he basically is pissing and moaning about Donald Trump. Big mystery there, guy in Hollywood unhappy about a Republican. Whoops, like we really never hear that happening. This one, I cannot begin to tell you how much this absolutely cracked me up. Now, if you guys know anything about modern vehicles, they are tuned in usually besides having, XM Sirius on the satellite antenna also talks to home. So if you have a situation where the car won't start, you can contact the company and go, hey, the car's not starting. Could you give me a reason why it's not starting? Sometimes they can actually do a physical diagnosis on the vehicle by talking to it and going, hey, what's your problem? The car goes, well, I'm feeling like this isn't working and da 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 da. I'm not going to work for you right now. Sorry. So anyway, way, shape, and form, as we see ourselves, it's a situation where the technology can really, really, really go wrong because somebody might have a remote off switch. Well, what happened? Well, in Soviet Russia, Porsche not driving is German revenge for World War II. So what happened is coming in from Breitbart.com. Porsche's satellite-controlled anti-theft system bricked. I mean, it literally means like it does absolutely nothing. It bricked the cars in Russia. So what happened was the anti-theft system said, you're trying to be stolen. I'm not going to let you go. I'm going to stop it from happening. Yeah, thanks, sound guy. It basically made it just go, yeah, it was death. Well,
Death by Snoop.
death by snoo. Anyway, so they remote shut off the cars because they air quotes thought the cars were being stolen. So, quote unquote, hundreds of Porsche sports cars and SUVs were disabled by their onboard satellite linked anti-theft immobilizer systems across Russia, leading to the claims it might be deliberate sabotage. Now, newer Porsche cars, including the Cayman, Panamera, and Macan models, have suddenly stopped working in Russia, leaving users saying they'd been, quote unquote, bricked. Bricked means essentially you walk up to it, every button that you hit does bupkis. It does absolutely nothing. It's completely locked the doors. It just will not do anything. Let's see. Scrolly. Hundreds of the vehicles fitted with Porsche's proprietary vehicle tracking system, a satellite-controlled security device intended to track and disable luxury cars and targeted by thieves, are understood to have been affected. The German car maker no longer sells to Russia, having ended sports car exports to that country with the onset of the war in Ukraine. But nevertheless, many of the well-appointed cars remain in Russia. So Russia's largest Porsche dealership has suggested it's possible this was done deliberately, and the issue may be tied to blocking of standard satellite alarm systems in the affected vehicles. Mother 2 says, straight to the conclusion, it was sabotage and not just crappy engineering. Oh, man, yeah. Patriot Fever says, now think of all the backdoors that the Chi-Coms have. Well, I do not own Huawei devices. I do not own technology made in China if I can avoid it. As a matter of fact, the device that I'm currently broadcasting to you with is literally the last one in the 9 series before you go up a step that has a Korean processor on it. And the other one, too, is also the next step up. Chinese, Taiwanese processor. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me you can't handle accountability without telling me you can't handle accountability. Mom on 2 is on fire. So anyway, they basically got shut down. I tend to think that the Germans are like, you know what? They're using their cars here. Let's just give a little swipe across the butt. And they shut the cars off remotely. To me, that's just absolutely hilarious. Now, speaking of vehicles, this is another vehicle that, well, let's just say it has its own memes because it's kind of a reality thing. So anyway, the lesbian car brand forces you to watch ads while you're driving. That's right. Subaru, as you're driving, will show you XM Sirius ads at highway speeds. So you're driving along, all of a sudden the infotainment goes, bing, here's your ad. You should be getting XM Sirius for this month under a blah, blah, blah subscription rate of so-and-so and so-and-so. Oops. Yeah, so they've been doing that to the people. So Subaru of America, mind you, put out the statement to several outlets it will consider customer feedback. Um, that's like basically, when you're in the service and the guy goes, I'll consider it. I'll consider your opinion. Translation, F off. I'm not listening to you. So yeah, basically, we'll consider customer opinions and customer feedback. Translation: the best feedback you possibly could do is you pull the car into the dealership and you say, "Give me my blanking money back. Here's your piece of crap car." Not doing it. That's the best way you can do it. Is you tell these car companies, "I'm not putting up with your stupid ads in my car." Uh, so they basically said this: we will discuss these messages in upcoming meetings, and we will always consider customer feedback. If you have a bunch of pissed off people, dude, you're not going to have customer feedback for long. This will be the first time we've heard of any issue. Those messages happen twice a year, around Memorial Day and around Thanksgiving, to alert customers that all the channels are available for them for about 2 weeks. Okay, if you're sending me ads any time of year, I don't want them. I really, truly don't want them. That's why I rock two, two, three, actually three. I run 3 ad blockers on my laptop. I rarely see ads. And if I do, I block them. Very simple. Patriot Fever. What if Subaru knows you're a Trump supporter? Patriot Fever. There's probably very few Trump supporters driving Subarus because they're mostly the lesbian car brand. Okay, it's just preferential on their part. You just look at the Subaru before you know it. You're driving past, and there's the rainbow, or there's the other symbol for saying we're not playing with your team. We're playing on the other team. Wow. Um. Mother of two reminds me of the time the husband accused me of shrinking his pants in the laundry. I had to tell him, "No, honey, the pants are the same. You just got bigger." That's funny. That's funny. So anyway, Subaru says the ads only happen twice a year for 2 weeks. Okay, well, how about only twice a year for 2 weeks? I stopped paying my car note. How do you like that? Would that be something that you're agreeable to? No? Too bad. So sad. Bye-bye. I would play the song. I really, truly would play the song. Mostly because if you read the lyrics, Jello Biafra was so unbelievably on point with this song. But the song is from the Dead Kennedys, and the song is MTV, Get Off the Air. So anyway, this is the end of an era. We lived to the beginning, lived to the end due to its stupid business choices. So long, MTV. And here's what's happening. MTV is going to stop operations, and they're shutting down as the last of the music channels, marking the end of an era. And this one coming in from Cord Cutter News. I've never heard of it, but anyway. So Cord Cutter News. The MTV's shutting down. Paramount Global has delivered a devastating blow to music fans worldwide, announcing the permanent shutdown of 5 iconic MTV music channels. When's the last time they played a music video? On December 31, 2025, according to the BBC. So, for 44 years, MTV has been a cultural juggernaut. No, it has not been a juggernaut. It's been literally like watching really strangely dressed people walking around on like model runways playing sucky music forever. I cannot tell you the number of times where, we're watching like Headbangers Ball and it's like, yeah, yeah. And then it's like some really craptastic song comes on and we're like, what is this? It became so dramatically overblown that even the amount of stuff coming out of Beavis and Butthead ragging on things became like most of the show. Yeah, Beavis, this song sucks. Yeah, Beavis, that song really, really sucks. Yeah, it became like the whole premise of the show was like bagging on just suck ass music that was being thrown out there like, oh, this is so tremendously huge, so amazing, just so. Yeah. Anyway, So the affected channels: MTV Music, MTV 80s, MTV 90s, Club MTV, and MTV Live have long served as cherished hubs for music video culture across Europe and beyond. I think it was more Europe and not so beyond. Excuse me a second here, because they really, the music that they were espousing was kind of really just. How would sound guy? What would you say the music choices they were espousing on MTV? Would you say it was anything but uh, just complete and total? Yeah, it was total caca. No, it was not Joe Caca, but it was definitely. Oh, it was definitely caca. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop. Yeah, it was definitely, definitely caca music. Definitely caca music. The flagship destination for music fans has long been a go-to for fans seeking the latest hits. Oh, come on. No, you can listen. If you want to listen to really horribly bad music, you simply only have to listen to the latest, top 40 channel or, whiz bang suck ass rap music channel. You'll hear all the newest hits that are coming off the manure pile fast. Wow. MTV's best moments was Jackass. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, the movies were better than watching it on MTV for damn sure, because it wasn't censored. And those guys, wow. Jackass still makes me fall off the chair laughing every single trip of the train. It's just fun. It's literally just fun. So basically, MTV 80s and 90s transported viewers back to the era of synth pop, hair metal, grunge, and bubblegum pop, offering nostalgic escapes through retro hits and iconic classics. Now, you can do that on your own. I have Spotify, okay? I literally go through this scat. I mean, okay, all right, let me be completely, absolutely, perfectly honest here, okay? This is going to be probably bearing my soul, but on Spotify, going into my library, I have 1,267 songs as liked songs. 1,267. And that's genres all over the place. The vast majority, though, pretty much stop mid 2000s. And I do mean it's like just unbelievably just screeching halt, not gonna just go any further. Just that's all I'm going, because I just won't go any further because it's just bad. And I do mean just sound guy. It's not meow, okay? It's not. It's not meow. No, stop with the cats, okay? Stop. No cats. So let's see.
Enough is enough. I have had it with these motherfuckers on this motherfucking plane. Everybody strap in. I'm about to open some windows.
Cats on a plane. I don't know the reference that this has to do with MTV going off the air, but just cats on a plane. Okay, that was. It didn't have anything to do with cats on a plane. Okay. No, I'm stopping that. No, you play it once, okay? Once. You don't play cats on the plane twice. No, I'm tired of these blah, blah, blah cats on a plane. No, enough. You do it once. Once. Enough cats on a plane, okay? Jeez. Yeah, so MTV is going down the tubes. End of the year, they're stopping operations. I think what it is, honestly, completely unabashedly, it truly was not a profitable enterprise any longer, and everything that they were throwing out the door was a lost leader, because even with tons of commercials, it was not well watched anymore. People truly were not paying much attention to MTV or what was it, the video TV thing, whatever the hell it was. I forget what the actual phrasing on that thing was, but I tend to think all along the way it is run, the amount of people sitting at home going, "Oh yeah, let's turn on MTV." Yeah, exactly. Patriot Fever in the room says, "Who cared about the Kardashians?" Yeah, thank you, Pippi Oli. He said VH1. That was the one I was grasping for because it was so not in the forebrain. You just go, there was this movie, TV, video channel besides MTV, VH something. Yeah. I mean, when it comes right down to it, their heyday literally, and I remember going over to friends' houses like back in the 80s, and man, and catching like, Headbangers Ball, and it was like, there's still, I mean, nuclear assault. That's in there, man. Nuclear assault. That's definitely in there. When you start seeing videos like that, it's like, oh yeah, that's stuck in the head. That's definitely stuck in the forebrain. So many good metal bands. Just I don't even know if the videos were all that good, but you were just slamming to that music, going, "Oh yeah, this is the stuff. This is the stuff." Even coming out of sucky TV speakers, you were like, "Yeah, metal." So anyway, yeah, those guys going by the wayside. It was also the other thing too was also figure out your audience. I mean, your youngest person, obviously, being like Gen X, who was really the guys who were the vanguard of MTV and VH1, was Gen X. And if you look at the population numbers, Gen X was actually a smaller group, way, way, way smaller group than Boomers. I think the Boomers did entirely too much partying and not enough male female interaction, shall we say. So those guys coming after, obviously, Z and Millennial, I don't think they really were like, dude, yeah, here's a new video with blah blah blah. It's gonna be phenomenal. They're I downloaded the song and it wasn't good enough, so I downloaded this mixtape by so and so where they went through and they changed the entire song around to my liking. Okay, not everything is going to be mixed up by Deadmau5, Daft Punk, and all these other electronic music guys to your liking, where they take a song and go kind of screw it all together, like a clown making like a balloon animal. All right, you pretty much had linear fashion of the song. I know it's so old fashioned, kids. I know it's so old fashioned for a linear progression of beginning to end. I know it's just completely backwards for most people to go, hey, we really only wanted to listen to the song unadulterated. Well, if you have a trained ear, and I actually do have a trained ear, I'm not a musician per se, but I can pitch match really, really well. And I've told the story before. Like, I actually am a band tech, and I was setting up at one place. Now, the bass player was out doing something, and his mic was sitting there idle. Well, to get levels, you kind of need somebody to grab the mic and basically do their thing. So the singer's doing the song, and I jumped on the mic and started running harmony and chorus, and he looked over like, holy crap, dude's in tune. It's like, dude's in tune. That's right. I could pitch match. So I was running alongside him perfectly in tune. Well, perfectly enough. I didn't have earbuds in where I could hear the source, but I was pretty close. And so he looked over and he started smiling like, whoa, dude's actually in tune. So that's the other thing too, is also I have an ear for what sounds like the original version versus a remastering or a remix. And the other thing too is a lot of these guys, when they did their songs, the masters of that song or the actual source before they pressed the albums, made the cassette tapes, or made the CDs was owned by the record company. So if the artist wrote the song that's performing the song, they got a cut. They didn't outright own it because the masters or the actual copy of the song itself was owned by the record company. Well, after a certain number of years, the copyright expires, or the rights to have only their earning on that expires. So what does the artist do? They re-record their own song. Well, here's the thing. If you have somebody that was singing like when they get to about age 70 something, they're going, and they can't hit that range anymore because your voice, as you age, you lose range. Unless you're somebody ridiculous operatic like Pavarotti, who stayed pretty much high the whole time of his life. The thing about it is you can't hit that high range anymore. So instead of being performed in a key of so and so, which is like stratospheric, you go, okay, you don't go, you go, or maybe not that low, but you're taking down what's called a couple steps, and you get to the point where you can still hit those notes. Well, when they do those remasterings or re-recordings, I don't even have to look at the title, and I'm listening to it going, yeah, that's a re-recording. And I know the performance because I know the way it's supposed to sound. I've heard it enough times. It's locked in the Mark I brain, and I know the way the song is supposed to sound. So when they do a remastering, it's like, hey, man, I want this thing on Spotify. I want it to be earning money. I want it to be like all these other places in Zeitgeist. It's going to be, played in normal radio rotation because that's the way it's going to run. But the record company doesn't have the rights to perform or play that song any longer. So now the artist does, and they're earning money off the plays. Is it a huge amount of money? Not really, because how many people are still driving around tuning their radio to different radio stations versus going, I'm just simply going to jack in my whatever it is and play that as a streaming service through my car radio. I mean, case in point, what I normally do, and this is kind of me being me, is I don't like the idea of a folding phone. So what I did was I basically got two phones, this one being the one that's actually on the network. Then what's happening is this one acts as a Wi-Fi hub, and this one then goes on the internet using the signal from this phone. So this phone essentially sitting in my center console, it's running Spotify or it's running Facebook or whatever it is I'm doing in the course of my shift as I'm driving. And yes, I'm not looking at Facebook while I'm driving much. But anyway, what's happening is it's being used as the conduit for the entertainment. I'm rarely listening to broadcast radio unless it's like talk. But I'm not going to, okay, yeah, let me go to channel so-and-so because, they play the best music. No, half the time you're listening to that station, it's commercials. And I choose not to waste my time listening to commercials. I would rather fill my time going, okay, listen to this playlist. Okay, that song was kind of, oh, that reminded me of that song. And I'll go zipping through, search, bink, play that song instead. So that's the other thing, too, is also, it's just the same problem as XM Sirius is they have their playlist. You have no choice other than going, they're not playing something I like on this channel versus that channel. So it's almost the same exact thing as tuning the radio dial to a different station. You're simply getting another song on another station. Pedro Viva says, notice CMT or country music television still going strong. Yeah, well, I got to tell you, dude, rockin' country that's like the Eagles, okay? And they say like the Eagles, oh yeah, that's country music. It's like, no, it isn't. That was soft rock. But they're saying that kind of genre is country nowadays. Okay, fine, sure, cool, whatever. But if you do the same song with only minor variation, it just does nothing for me. But I'm sure there's a lot of fans, and hey, if you consider it country, have at it. You're calling a duck a goose. They both go in the water. Have a blast. Yeah. So anyway, MTV, you are a done duck, dead goose. Scrolly. This one, you're going to have to hoist your glasses, hoist your mugs, hoist your whatevers, and pay toast and homage to character actor, namely the guy who did some really awesome stuff. I really truly liked him in Rising Sun. But anyway, so I'm going to pay homage to Korei Haruyuki Tagawa, also known as Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat. I commend you, sir, to Ab's Companions. Passed away earlier this week at age 75. Let's see. Scrolly. This one kind of cracked me up. This one is probably one that didn't really think along so good, but they really think it's going to be just awesome. So they're thinking that if you put these giant mirrors in space and you redirect the sun's rays, essentially you can change the climate of the planet, or you can light places up, and they don't have to be dark anymore because you simply extend the day by pointing light at the dark spots of the globe. So they say these giant mirrors could bring sunlight after dark, one startup says, and astronomers are concerned. Yeah. So anyway, they're billing them as harnessing solar energy at night. Well, that's such a bad thing in the dark spots, but in the daylight, you have these pieces of whatever blocking the sunlight from up above. I mean, I know there's a lot of space up there, but still, yeah, exactly. Space Fever nailed it exactly. Wasn't there a bad 007 movie about that? Yeah, it's called The Death Ray from the Moonraker. Yeah, Mortal Kombat. Get over here. Yeah. Anyway, scrolly. Yeah. So these giant mirrors, they saying could be absolutely amazing.
Fatality.
Oh, stop.
Fatality.
Oh man, I shot Marvin in the face. What? You do that? I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident.
You dick.
Okay. Mother of two, if you didn't know, when the sound guy gets into the fart catalog, it's never good. He gets into the fart catalog, okay?
Oh man, I shot Marvin in the face. What? You do that? I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident.
You dick.
Pulp Fiction becomes fart fiction. I have no clue, folks. I have no clue where he goes in these things. So anyway, yeah, the death ray from the James Bond movie, man. That's oof. They're at it again. I don't know if you guys saw this one or not, but this was absolutely freaking hilarious. The complete and total just looking at reality and seeing it for something different when you're a news geek. Jake Tapper on CNN said the pipe bomber was identified as a white guy. This confirms that leftard news guys aren't blind, but they just might be racist. Holy cow. Let's see. Scrolly. I don't know if you guys saw this one or not. This is absolutely comic gold from the Babylon Bee. I love these guys. They're so much fun. So they say Minneapolis, Minnesota, a remake of the popular 2001 war film Black Hawk Down was reportedly in development by Columbia Pictures, with producers eyeing downtown Minneapolis as the primary filming location. Quote, I got stuck there on a layover once, and I thought I'd landed in Somalia, but it was just Minnesota, producer Jerry Bruckheimer said. I've never been more scared in my entire life, and I'm from Detroit. So they're thinking of filming Black Hawk Down in Minneapolis because there's all the Somalis in there now. Too funny. Too funny. Let's see. Scroll. Oh man, I didn't see this one or not. But Al Green is going to lose his congressional seat, and he is going to be out. Why? Because it's so easy. A caveman can do it. That guy with his waving it, get him out of here, waving the cane around. Yipes. Of course, they've been pissing and moaning about the double strike that they've been doing on the drug boats. Well. A Coast Guard sniper popped the boat, disabled it, and they busted the boat. Did it have fish on board moving at 56 knots on the water? No, it only had 20,000 pounds of cocaine. Yipes. Yeah. So I guess they were powdering the fish before they brought them on shore. Powdered fish. Yeah. Scrolly. This one is absolutely hilarious. Of course, you've been seeing on the news Chuck Schumer complaining about Thor's hammer. You're doing damage on these drug boats. It's just killing and murdering. Well, slight problem for old F. Chuck U. Schumer. The Maritime Drug Law Enforcement Act of 1986, Chuck Schumer voted yes. So He literally has his finger on the pulse of this whole zapping the boats offshore thing. No. Mother of two, married for 17 years, heard every type of fart. She's okay. She's not offended. Oh, yeah. Sound guy at work. Dude, really? Guy. Just wait. There's more. Just wait. Patriot Fever, high sharks. Well, I thought they had a problem with the cocaine bears. So now there's cocaine sharks too off the coast of Florida. Yeesh. Yeesh. Cocaine sharks, cocaine fish. Wow. This one cracked me up. I think I'm probably gonna make this one of the last ones, but I cannot begin to tell you how much this cracked me up because this is classic Yakov Smirnov type shtick. But in Soviet Russia, Russians not need vodka to get bombed. No, no, no. What did the Russians do to themselves? Well, the Russian Air Force actually dropped a 1,000-pound guided bomb on Belgorod, Russia, with a resident spotted driving past the cordon site near an electrical substation. Need I say they probably were drinking and driving in the plane? Yipes. Unbelievable. So they basically bombed themselves going, this doesn't look like Ukraine. Here, Yuri, drop bomb. We need to get back and drink tonight. Okay, I drop bomb. Bye-bye, bomb. Yeah. So that's pretty much what they did. They dropped bomb. They dropped bomb. Wow. So on that note, folks, I'm going to break off. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. I know you got many other places to go on a Tuesday. You get a gold star for attendance. Those new attendees in the room, I thank you so much for coming by. We are on every week, usually. 5 minutes to 9 is when I fire it up on a Tuesday. I thank you guys so much for your kind attention. I'm going to break off with this one. So, eat good, keep pretending as always, you know what, you love it on the new device. Too cool. It's actually working. Yay! Catch you guys next week. Have a good one, and I'll see you then. Catch you guys later. See you guys. Finish.